So do you watch The Big Bang Theory? Maybe this doesn't seem like a strange question, but to me it became a strange question this past summer when I was asked over and over and over again, not in America, but in China. During my time in China this summer, I planned to be a volunteer teacher for a kids' English camp, and I chose Disney's Frozen for my classroom theme. I thought I might be the one introducing this story to my students, but within an hour of arriving in China, I saw a giant Frozen poster in the Beijing airport. And sure enough, when I introduced Frozen to my students, some very enthusiastic middle school girls started singing Let It Go right along with me. And that was certainly not the only song I heard sung in English while I was in China. As I walked through the streets of major cities, it was not uncommon to hear Taylor Swift or Katy Perry or other American artists. At first, all of these experiences struck me as very strange because these were distinct elements of my culture that I had planned to bring with me to China, but they were already there waiting for me when I arrived, ready to serve as a foundation for building relationships. Recently, I've been researching the relationship between the United States government and the People's Republic of China, and I found that there's this constant thread of tension that's been there since the beginning in 1949, and that tension is based on different ideologies and shifting power structures in politics and economics. But when I was singing Let It Go with my little middle school English camp students, I couldn't find that tension in that relationship. And when my friends introduced me to various elements of Chinese culture, whether it was shopping or food or music, I couldn't find that governmental tension in those relationships either. You see, I realized that the tensions that exist between the United States government and the People's Republic of China are very real and based on differences, but that these differences don't necessarily represent differences between individual people. And as our society grows increasingly connected through things like the internet, we don't have to settle for being represented by our governments. We can actually step outside that and represent ourselves. As I thought about how we were already doing this through mass media like The Big Bang Theory and Frozen, my thoughts inevitably turned to social media and how we could do this on a more direct and personal level. And as I started exploring this idea of personal representation through social media, I found another tense political relationship that also doesn't represent the people on either side. This Facebook community, Israel Loves Iran, describes itself as a bridge in the Middle East between the people. Not the governments, the people. With a medium like Facebook, something like this is possible. This movement already has over 120,000 followers, and it's led to developing relationships not only online, but also in person. But at the same time, when we're using things like social media to express ideas that can build up relationships, we can also use social media to express ideas that tear them down. I think any of us who have been on Facebook can relate to seeing friends get caught up in angry comment wars over posts about sensitive issues, and probably more of us than would like to admit it have participated in these angry comment wars at one time or another. So we see that whether it's the government or mass media or social media, all of these things are just mediums for people to represent themselves. The unique power of social media is that it puts this opportunity of representation into the hands of individuals. So in closing, I would like to leave you with this thought. As our world grows increasingly connected, the immense power of representation is in the hands of individuals, including you. So what are you going to do with this power? Thank you.